Was becoming a licensed therapist your dream career as a child? If not, what was?
Girl, no. I think when I was a kid, I wasn't even thinking about working.
So what are the most common coping skills that you see individuals exhibit?
Well, some of the ones that are harmful are usually seeking to mask feelings through substances, alcohol, the addictions, sex, gaming.
So welcome to Lying and Crying. We have our guest here, Danielle. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
We are continuing our discussion on mental health and are so excited about our special guest and friend to the show, licensed clinical therapist, Mrs. Danielle McDowell. Welcome.
So we got a few questions to ask you. We're going to start off on personal health. Ms. Nikki?
So, Danielle, was becoming a licensed therapist your dream career as a child? If not, what was?
Girl, no. I think when I was a kid, I wasn't even thinking about working. I was just thinking about enjoying life. I considered that question, and I can remember the middle school version of me watching New York Undercover.
That was my show.
Girl, I was like,
I
am going to live in New York City. I am going to marry a Puerto Rican man. And I'm going to live in a flat with everything open.
It sounds so
and
good.
I'm just gonna travel and enjoy my life with no kids. And that is hilarious because I have a ton of kids. My husband is Black, and I don't live in New York City.
Wow, that was very imaginative. Yeah. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So so how is prioritizing your mental health in such a demanding field?
I mean, I think it's difficult in many fields. The biggest piece of that makes mental health a little different is you carry a lot of hard stories and heavy information from people. If you hold space for a person, it exposes you to heaviness, and you have to do a lot of intentional work to process and take care of yourself outside of sessions because you're holding so much of this emotional weight on top of your own stuff. And so I always prioritize myself and my mental health, and I find even moments, I steal moments for myself throughout the day to help to kind of re-energize myself or to release things. And I use many of the interventions that I teach my clients on myself to help me in a somatic way through my body to release things, but even like a mindfulness, meditation kind of way. Consistency and considering that in this field, I am not helpful to anyone else unless I take care of myself.
Wow. So basically you practice what you preach.
Yes, most of the time. Now, I'm human. Sometimes I'll be like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but instead, I'm going to do something different.
Gotcha. Naturally, right?
Yeah, because we're human. But that's the human experience. We aren't robots. We won't always get it right. And we got to give each other and ourselves grace.
I think that's the hardest thing. I think a lot of us beat ourselves up a lot.
Yep.
You know, we take guilt for a lot of things, but yeah, I think we all suffer that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, Danielle, what does emotional resilience mean to you?
I like that question. I think emotional resilience is understanding and leaning into the understanding that things will happen to you, and you have to figure out how do you survive those things. And when you add the emotional piece, if the focus is on your emotional resilience, then that means you need to be figuring, how do I care for my mental and emotional health in a way that I can sustain things that will continue to happen to me throughout my life. And when you learn to lean into the idea that sometimes it's going to be hard, then you're able to then develop the skills needed to be resilient and push through. And many times people seek to have a life that doesn't have any discourse. And now you're fighting against things that is going to happen.
Wow.
And if you understand that at moments in your life it's going to be hard, then you can then figure out, what do I need to do in those moments to get and cope through it? And that's how you're emotionally resilient.
A lot of people don't have coping skills.
Yeah, not good
I don't even
ones.
think there you go. Not good ones.
Not healthy ones.
So what are the most common coping skills that you see individuals, clients, exhibit?
Well, some of the ones that are harmful are usually seeking to mask feelings through substances, alcohol, the addictions, sex, gaming, all the things. So it's like, what can I do that allows me to have a dopamine hit and feel good in this moment and try to forget the thing that is causing me harm or stress or the past trauma. And those skills aren't beneficial. When they come and they get support with me, I really let people understand that some of the base foundational things that can help you physically, emotionally is, how are you eating? Are you eating decent food to fuel your body? Are you hydrating, drinking your water? Are you sleeping? And are you connected to something outside of yourself? And that can be religion, nature, other relationships with people. But if you have those 4 components and you're using those as your base to cope, you add on top of that as you go and you find additional skills. But you first need a firm foundation. So do that first. And then once you do those things, we need to add more coping skills in your toolbox so that you have a lot to go to when you need them.
Wow, it sounds everything you named that people tend to cope with. It sounds like all of the easy stuff.
It feels that way, right?
Yeah, all of the
Yes.
easy things. It seems like, but the real work is what's most difficult.
It is. It is. And there's something that happens in the brain when you're experiencing stress. It almost shuts down the cognitive part that helps you think like, I should drink some water right now, because your emotions have taken over. And so humans, we have this brain that is so detailed, and it has these functions, things we don't even understand yet. But what they've been able to show in research is the emotional part of the brain can overpower the cognitive part when you are in stress. And so when your emotional part of the brain checks in, it takes over your ability to say, I really need to go to sleep, or I really need to eat, or I really need to drink some water, or call my friend, or pray. It's hard to think about those things because the emotional part of the brain is like, oh, I'm running the show now. I'm taking over.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Wow. That is okay. Cut.
Wow.
Yo, that's dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
It really is.
I like that.
She's so good.
Yeah, like girl, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the next topic is going to be professional insights.
Okay.
Okay. So, what are the most common misconceptions in mental health, and how would you like to dispel those?
Generally, I think people think when you come to a therapist, this person is going to fix me or tell me what to do.
Work miracles, huh?
Look, yeah. And I think that there are some therapists that use some modalities that do make them more of like, I'm the expert, do what I say. But I don't move that way as a therapist, and most therapists don't move that way. It's just certain ones. And so you got to think about like, what approach do I need in therapy, and what do I expect to happen in this relationship? And if the expectation is this professional person is going to fix me and tell me what to do, you're moving into therapy in a way that won't help you. The intention is to consider that the therapist is going to be the co-pilot, but you are the pilot. You know your life better than any other person. And this co-pilot is just going to help you see the blind spots. My goal as a therapist is to help you understand that you're looking at the world through that emotional part of your brain, and I'm gonna bring some logic because I'm not in my emotional part. And so I'm like, hey, did you consider this? Or did you consider that? And so the misconception is that you will walk into a space and some other person will fix you, and there is work that you have to do to fix yourself.
You know,
Wow.
I say this all the time, you know, in our line of work. I say, we're just the little voice in the back of your head. You just speak a little louder. We're an actual body, you know, versus the other voices You know, we're the one for good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're the
That's
one
good.
for good. You know, but we can't make you do anything.
Definitely.
You know,
Yes.
either you're gonna be a doer or a donor.
Yep. He always says that. He always says that.
You know,
That is
real
accurate.
talk. Real talk.
That is accurate.
So, Danielle, why do you think there is such a huge taboo with regards to seeking therapy in the African American community?
Because historically it was harmful to us. They utilize mental health just like going to the doctor and medical health
Yeah, psychological
to
warfare.
cause us harm. And so, like, it hasn't been long ago that individuals who went to a mental health professional would share a struggle and they would be in an institution for the rest of their life, right? And so we have family members who remember a time when mental health was harmful to us. And there are still consequences, if I'm being honest. Like, if we have a large population who goes into the military, and if you go to see a mental health therapist and you disclose that you have some conditions, it kicks you out of work. Or out the ability to be in the military. And there are other professions. So there are actual things that we still need to be working on in the mental health field that cause people to feel this way. However, I think the challenge is helping to educate our community that things have changed some and that there are avenues and ways now to receive this help and not have the consequence. And I'm a big component on a person who is in a Black and brown community who's having a hard time with mental health, finding someone that is Black or brown to offer the service, because then there's a level of understanding from the therapist, and you hopefully will have the ability to ask those hard questions or say the things that make you feel hesitant about therapy, right?
So you'll feel safe.
Yep, and you can get the information to make the choice that's best for you. But there's still changes that need to happen in our field. I do a lot of work to push back against some of the harm for Black and brown people, and I understand their hesitation. It's just important for me to help them understand the benefit of it and let them know that things are changing in the field. There's still more work to be done, but we are in a space where we need more African American, Black and brown bodies to consider their emotional health so that they can thrive and they can teach the next generation. Because when you learn something, you share that with your children and they learn it and share it with theirs. So we need generational healing.
I think that is a very true statement, and it goes deeper than just the surface level stuff.
Yeah.
It
You
definitely
know,
does.
like some things is actually institutionalized in us.
Yeah.
You know, just the very thought. Because I remember growing up in the time, you know, because luckily I say that we got blessed to see that genre, and actually we're seeing how things are changing now. But we grew up in a time where that was not the go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like now it's like, you know, and in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure you all can agree, but I feel like mental health ain't really get its popularity that it's getting now until COVID. Until people were forced to face it and deal with it.
To sit with themselves.
You know, they had to sit with themselves, they had to sit with other people, they had to maybe see things that they ignored. You know, but anyways, going back to what I was saying, when we were younger, that was not the go-to. You know, go seek mental health, go seek, you know, it was jail or some type of corporal punishment of some sort.
Or church.
Or
Don't
church.
pray about it. God got you.
God got you.
You don't need
know,
that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer that faith is important, but just like God made a doctor, he made therapists for a reason too.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have both. You can pray and trust God and go to therapy. You can do all of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. I agree. It takes many supports.
Yeah, village. We need all the things, all the
things,
resources.
all the
Yes, we
resources.
do.
Gotcha. So, what do you do to build rapport with your clients? Like, how do you get that bond? How do you get them to I guess, trust you to tell you their deepest secrets? Because I totally understand that if that rapport isn't built, how can you effectively help them? So how do you? So how do you do this? How do you make it work?
I will say in this big old age of my career that I am just myself. When I first started out in the field, though, there was this instruction that you receive in school as you're working through your licensure that you must be the expert in the room, you must be a blank slate, right? And you should sit there and not share anything about yourself and offer support to the other person. And so I tried to do therapy that way. And it didn't allow the client to see me as a human and feel comfortable with connecting and building rapport with me. And so I stopped doing it that way. And once I started having my own business, I wasn't worried that there would be another human telling me to do it different. And I got some supervision with some dope Black therapists who understand that we should be able to show up in the space too. We don't take up the space, but we allow our clients to know that we are humans too. And so when I am my authentic self in session, people are more comfortable to connect with me and be their authentic self. And then that's when we are able to build and start doing some work. And so I do rapport by just being Danielle. I am myself everywhere. I don't do a lot of code switching. I talk and act like I do. So if you sit in session and you see me in the street with a friend, you'll be like, yeah, that's the same Danielle.
So you one way all the time. One way all the time. I love that.
That's what you get.
So pretty much either they is or they ain't. Like that's what it is, right?
Definitely.
So
definitely.
Okay. So have you had cases where this is like, nah, this ain't gonna work for me?
Yeah,
this ain't gonna, you know.
I like that though, because I think people need to understand that every person is not for everybody.
That is
and
true.
Therapy only works when you feel connected to your therapist. And so when I first meet a human, I tell to them, I say, look, this won't work unless you feel connected to me. And it'll take a little time for you to decide. But if at any moment you decide Danielle's cool, but she's not my therapist, you can't hurt my feelings telling me that. I want to help you find the person so that you can do that work. Because I don't do this work from an idea that I must hold all the clients.
Right. Definitely.
It's enough people for me to support.
Yes, it is.
And all everybody else.
Yes, it is.
So go
no
find,
shortage.
go find your therapist.
Right.
And those who are like, no, you're my person, they stay with me and they're able to get good work done. And so, no, I don't hold people. I don't even work really hard to keep people.
I hear that.
I'm here if you want to have my support, I'm offering it. And if you need my help to find someone that's a better fit, I am willing to do that too.
Well said. Well said. So have you ever been in a situation where you had to let somebody go? That was like, that's not for me. You're not for me. Like you made the decision, like the executive decision.
So you got to be like clear that when you release a client, you're not doing it in a way that is harmful to them. But I think that there are opportunities for therapists, including myself, to look at the client and their needs and their presentation and me and my therapy approach and how I show up in the space. And I can use clinical assessment to determine that it would be better for them to have a different style of therapy or to have a therapist that is more specialized in a thing. So like if you're coming to me and you're saying I'm working with depression, but I notice that you have a significant personality disorder, that is not my frame of reference and that is not my training. So I can ethically discharge you and refer you to another therapist that can help in that way. But we should never, as therapists, just be like, look, I don't really like you, so I can't work with you. Because that's harmful to the client.
Right.
And so I'm always thinking about like, out of ego of Danielle and how I feel about this human. What am I doing that would be helpful to this person and what am I doing that would be harmful? And 9 times out of 10, if those feelings are coming up for me, I can find clinical reasons why it's beneficial for them to work for someone else.
Okay. You know, I'm not going to stay on this long. I just want to say that I can totally understand.
We both
what you're
can.
saying. This field has definitely humbled me It has definitely made me see myself outside of myself.
Yes.
It has put me in environments where it had me scratching my head and said, you know what? You know what? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know?
So Danielle, how can parents model healthy emotional expression and regulation for their children?
Go get them some therapy so they can take care of their emotions to be able to model it. No, I'm being funny, but that's like literally like the foundational part. Like you can't have expectation that your children can exhibit a particular ability that you don't have well yourself, right?
Yeah.
And many times when I work with specifically parents, I notice that they don't spend enough time taking care of themselves to have the energy to be able to demonstrate the skill. So it may not be that they don't know how to model it. It just means that they are so exhausted. And when you're exhausted and you're stressed, you're short-tempered, because I know I am.
Yes.
If I'm hangry and hungry and all them things, I can't do that stuff, like, right? So I tell parents, slow down, figure out what is keeping you from having the energy to be able to do that, and focus on those things so that you can model the skill to your children. And I also, and this is like a little controversial, because I know like old school parents don't parent this way, but I really believe that it's important for parents to communicate to their children and help them understand why it's important to be able to demonstrate these skills, and also like name when it's hard for you to do it. I have no problem saying to my kids, like, I'm tired, like I'm short-tempered right now because I'm sleepy, right? I didn't waited too long to eat, and so now I'm fussing at everybody because I don't even want to go downstairs and try to fix some food, and I'm just not in the space to be a human. I'm having a grown-up temper tantrum right now.
Yeah.
Give me a minute, okay? And when they have their minutes, I try to be giving them grace and understanding to understand it too, because they're just little humans that are struggling too. And so it's like understanding, grace, take care of yourself, and model the skills so that they can also do it too.
And also too, I think, I'll be quick, but I think that sometimes as parents, well, the old school parents, they felt as though it's what I say go.
Yep.
Goes.
You're big, I'm big,
You're little.
You're little.
Yes.
Yep.
So, you know, you find that the old school parents, they didn't really like apologize or admit when they're wrong. But like, I can admit when I'm wrong. So I had to apologize to our son a few days ago.
Yeah, it's huge. And there's some historical conditions that made it the way they parented that way, right? So especially for the Black community, like a lot of this is rooted in how our past conditions were treated, and there wasn't space to have that humility, right? And you didn't want your children to walk out in the world demonstrating that humility either, so you just were really hard. But now we understand through our own experiences the consequences of that kind of parenting. And so we have the ability to do a little different. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I do say, because I'm your mama, now get out my face.
Right.
But they get a better balance with me, because I do hear them out sometimes too.
Yeah. Sometimes we let stuff slide, but sometimes it's like, nah. I mean, and I ain't even gonna front. Sometimes I just ain't, listen, it's been a long day. I don't got time to
talk about it
compute
tomorrow.
an answer for you.
Yep.
Just do what I say. Okay? You know? All right. How can someone cultivate empathy and a high level of understanding in their relationships?
First, you have to understand what empathy is and have a level of self-awareness to understand why you struggle with it or you lack the ability to demonstrate empathy. Because just simply understanding like what empathy is and not considering like, well, why don't I show empathy? You won't be able to get to the space to be able to do that. And usually I am able to find a childhood version of a person that didn't receive it in the way they needed to. And then you become an adult and you aren't able to demonstrate it to others well. And so if we can unpack like what got you here, right, and have a good understanding of that, then we can tackle it different because it's unique to each person's experience, right? So some people lack the ability to demonstrate empathy because they have a particular personality disorder, right? Which is also, in my opinion, rooted in some trauma too.
Definitely.
But if it's a personality disorder, the approach and the interventions might be different from someone who doesn't demonstrate a personality disorder, but they just struggle with being able to consider other people and understand what it looks like to hold space with someone and not take on their hurt, but to be able to be like, I'm here with you and I know, and I have an understanding of the feeling, right? And so that's a great question, and I think my answer would be it depends on why the person struggles. But self-awareness is big, and understanding what empathy is too is important.
Do you think accountability plays a part in that as well?
Oh yeah, because that self-awareness is accountability. Like you're really looking within yourself and acknowledging like there's something I need to be doing to fix this, right? And it's not an everybody else problem. Because if you come to me and I build a relationship with you and you tell me that everybody in the world is doing something, I'm like, this don't even make no sense then. Like, your mama do it, your cousin do it, the neighbor down the street.
You ain't did nothing.
You just as innocent as you want to be.
That's sounding like the you thing we need to work
Yeah,
through.
definitely,
right?
definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So we are aware that you are also a suicide prevention educator. Can you tell us more about that, please?
Yeah, I have some training to go out in the field. And when I say the field, in my community, I am definitely a therapist. I use a lot of therapist jargon. But I have some trainings to be an instructor to help the community understand how to support someone who is struggling with suicide. We don't understand how to best support a person, and my intention is to help educate the community so that they can go out and help other people understand how suicide works. So it's basically the ability to support my community in understanding suicide and how to support someone.
Okay. So now we're going to go on challenges and growth. What are some challenges you faced in your own career as a therapist, and how did you overcome them?
Ooh, that's a good question too. And so there's a ton of them, but I'm gonna just name a couple. The first thing is the mental health field is one of those fields where you have to have a level of privilege to be able to even do the work, because they ask you to work for free for a whole lot until you get licensed. And so it makes it difficult for people to be in the field. And it's primarily women in this profession. And so they tend to do roles that is primarily women differently. All right. They don't see the benefit of what we do. And so I would say that was one thing, my own trauma and working through my own stuff so that I could be able to hold space with other people. And I think the third one is being able to figure out how to do this work in an authentic way that's helpful to people, where I don't lose myself in it. And so those three core things were like my biggest challenges. And thankfully, like I was blessed with a husband that showed up and helped when I won't make no money. And they had you out here slaving just to get the hours.
Right.
And I was blessed with the opportunity to start my own business, which allowed me to be more free to move like I want to in my own way. But those are just three, but there are many challenges in this field. But I know that God ordained me to do this work, and that's why I'm able to do it and be so successful.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I love that. Great answer. Great answer.
Okay. So how do you stay current with the latest research and developments in the field of mental health?
Well, part of our responsibility as therapists is each year you have to gain additional education. And so with those educational requirements, I tend to go to a lot of conferences. And I think, a lifelong learner. And so I've been able to do conferences to understand and stay updated on what things are happening, but also take like trainings and things like ketamine-assisted psychotherapy or doing like immigration evaluations. And so things that interest me in the field, I go and I expose myself I connect with a group of therapists. I'm in a Black therapist community now, and we share resources and insights and trainings. And it's just one of the commitments I've made to myself is to continue to stay abreast with how things are changing in our field.
Okay. I want to ask this last question.
Okay.
So, can you share your proudest moment to date since opening your practice?
Girl, when I got a big, large check, I think I got like $3,000. I was like, you can't tell me nothing. Let me find out, right?
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
I'm being silly, but for real, money is not the most important thing to me. But when you grew up in a lifestyle, I grew up in a low-income family. And so I know poverty well. I know struggle. Like, I've been homeless before. Yeah. And so being able to do this work and make some money, even though I need to make more, I'm sure my husband was like, come on, I want to retire one day. I'm trying, right? We're trying to get there. But the money meant for me that I did something that I do very well, and I got paid money, not what I deserve, because I don't equate money to what I deserve.
Right.
But I'm able to take care of my family with it. And so that's been a big accomplishment for me, because it's a layered accomplishment.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That is awesome. I totally understand that. Like, and especially when the work stops being work.
Yeah.
That is the best feeling ever. When the work stops being work, and it's just okay.
It's like it's just something that you just do.
You just wake up and do. It's just okay. Well, it's not a part of. It's not a part of life.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. Well, I ain't saying it's not a part of life. It's. What's the saying? You're working to live, not living to work.
Yeah. It's definitely a good balance. The paperwork part is still work for me.
Yes.
But everything else, I think I do really well, and I enjoy those other parts. So I take the work part with it too. But yes, you're right. It does make life a little easier to live when you have a profession that doesn't always feel so heavy to carry.
Yes. We hate for this conversation to end, Danielle.
Yeah, but we gotta go. It's been a pleasure as always. You know. Again, we want to give thanks to our sponsors, Gifted Enterprises, which is a mental health agency in the Hampton Roads area.
And also the Holiday Boys, a creation of teachable lessons for children, which is a 5-book series written and created by me.
So Facebook is my name, Danielle L. McDowell. Instagram is @AchievableGreat. And my website is daniellelmcdowell.com. If you go to the website, you will have access to all the social platforms. I am a real person who talks to real people, and so you won't get an AI bot. You will actually talk to me. So I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Until next time, people. Peace.